Its proud history dates back to 1928. Windsor Assembly, the city's largest employer, has stood the test of time, continuing to grow and prosper with the changing industry. Well, the vehicles made in the early years would only now be found in museums or at classic car shows. And tonight, in the first of a two-part series, Christie Bezaire joins us. A look back, Christie, at the plant.
You're right, Jim. Yeah, when I got to tour the plant a couple weeks ago before the $2 billion retooling, I was captivated not just by the modern technology in the plant, but also by the rich history that helped make our community so vibrant. I got the help of company officials, workers, and local historians to help share the plant's history as it undergoes yet another transformation. Tonight, we'll look at the early years before the minivan.
And now let's hear what Mr. Walter P. Chrysler, Mr. K.T. Keller, Mr. Fred M. Zeter, and Mr. A. Vanderzee have to say about it.
Walter P. Chrysler formed his company in the early 1920s with the goal of creating affordable luxury vehicles.
Walter Percival Chrysler, whose grandfather and father came from Chatham, although he was from Kansas, he basically helped revitalize the automotive industry when he first established his company.
Local author and former journalist Herb Colling has written 3 books on the history of the automotive industry in Windsor.
To some extent, the reinvention of Chrysler over the years is something that it's always done since its inception.
Colling says Walter P. Chrysler invested everything he had into 2 automakers who also assembled in Windsor.
It was based on Maxwell Chalmers, 2 automotive companies that were going bankrupt, and Walter Percival Chrysler basically took them and developed them into his own company.
Monday, we learned that through the years, Windsor has been home to no fewer than 23 different automotive assembly plants. Today, only 1 remains. Regular transformations at Chrysler's Windsor Assembly have allowed it to stay competitive, indeed vibrant, along with the 80s introduction of what at the time was an incredibly odd-looking but original vehicle. Joining us with the second part of her series, Christie Bezaire.
Well, Jim, over the years, Windsor Assembly has undergone about a dozen transformations. It was formerly known as the Passenger Car Assembly Plant, and it has survived some very difficult chapters in automotive history. Many say that that is because of one vehicle. From the late 1920s, through the 70s, through the Great Depression, the Second World War, and the oil embargoes, Chrysler's Windsor Assembly Plant produced a wide variety of Plymouth, Dodge, Chrysler, and DeSoto passenger vehicles. They weren't all sexy vehicles, but many never imagined what was on the horizon in the early 80s.
Nobody else had come up with it. Chrysler was the first.
We were afraid that, oh man, this is going to end up closing our plant.
Rick Schneider was elected as CAW 444 steward in 1975. He says they started meeting with the company about a new product.
All of us never wanted anything to do with the minivan. It looked like a square box.
They called it the Magic Wagon.
America's driving needs have changed. We could use a whole new way to get around. A magic wagon that carries 2 passengers and a big load, or 5 passengers and a smaller load. Or would you believe an option for 7? It's the Plymouth Voyager.